Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today we'll be talking about the Detroit Lions and their offseason plan I have for them. Now, if you do enjoy this kind of series I've been doing, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I try and do this as much as possible. All my links are in the description, my Twitter, which I've been tweeting a lot more, my TikTok, my Twitch, where I stream 2 hours every single night, playing some Minecraft, Call of Duty, Valorant. I've really been playing Valorant recently, Rocket League. I'm about to start streaming Rust. If you guys do want to go and see that, go and follow me. I try and do as much as I can. And let's get into the video. Detroit Lions offseason plan. So they hired their GM, Brad Holmes. He's from the Los Angeles Rams, and he was the director of scouting. Another person of color as a GM. Let's go. This is progress. This is progress that the NFL's taken, and many NFL teams are taking. The Rams have been drafting very well. They've had no first rounders for the last like 5 or 6 years, and they won't have any for the future. And they've been able to draft very well. And that's mostly because they've told Brad Holmes that, hey, we don't have any first rounders. We don't even have any second rounders. Get us those diamonds in the rough that we can develop and that can be immediate starters. And they have. He got a long-term deal and a little cherry on top. They signed John Dorsey as the assistant GM. So John Dorsey has a nose for talent, and especially late-round talent. And that's what Brad Holmes has been doing for the last 5 years with the Rams. So I'm really excited to see how good in the late rounds the Rams actually get in the drafting. And I'm excited to see what they got. They also hired coach Dan Campbell, who's a tight end coach from the New Orleans Saints. Personally, that hire I would have made. He now has a slew of NFL vets as coaches. Anthony Lynn as one. They have a wide receiver coach. I believe I can't remember his name, but their entire offense and defense is full of veterans of the NFL. He had an iffy opening press conference where he talked about like biting at the ankle and tearing off their leg, the opponent. I don't know. It was just really weird. But if that's an indication of the coach he is, cool. You can be amped up and fired for the weird reasons, but as long as you amped up and fired, you got it. This is actually his first time as a full-time head coach. He was an interim head coach of the Dolphins for a little bit, and he's been a tight end coach of the Saints since. So I'm excited to see what he can do. I'm not going to put him in the Super Bowl or anything, but I think they're going to have a pretty decent season. Off-season moves, aka their internal free agents. So this is their cap space. So I was able to cut 2 players in Justin Coleman and Nick Williams and save around 10 plus million. They're currently negative 1 million in the cap, so this is able to get them at least in the positive. Justin Coleman only started 5 games and played 11. He had 1 pass deflection and barely any tackles this season. He was a signing from the Seattle Seahawks, I believe, last year to be their slot corner, and he just hasn't really been able to play because of injuries and just bad play. And Nick Williams actually had 1 sack, 23 tackles, and 2 pass deflections. You can get value for much cheaper, either in free agency or through the draft, but saving 4.7 million in a rebuilding team is very important. So the first re-signing is Romeo Qora, defensive end. His 2020 stats were 10 sacks, 44 tackles, 11 tackles for loss, 18 QB hits, 3 forced fumbles, and a pass deflection. He played outstanding this year. He was one of the best defensive players in the NFC North. He had more than triple the next person in sacks. I believe the next person was Everson Griffin with 3.5. He had 10. He's young and can develop next to his brother Julian Qora, who they drafted in the 3rd round last year. I'd give him a 4-year deal, lock him down long term. He's not bad in coverage, but he's definitely more of a pass rusher. He can still develop. I mean, he was their best defensive player this year. He's the best pass rusher. You know, you've been hoping that Trey Flowers would play a little bit better, but he hasn't really played good since they signed him to a big deal. So I would try and maybe move off his contract and put that money into Romeo Qora, who is a young developing defensive end who played stellar for you last year with a bad defensive system with Matt Patricia. I like to see what this new defensive coordinator can do for them. The next signing is Kenny Golladay at wide receiver. He only played 5 games in 2020, so his 2019 and 2020 stats together are 1,500 yards and 13 touchdowns, and he was a Pro Bowler last year. My fault. He'll be one of the top free agents, not just wide receivers. He'll be one of the top free agents in general. Franchise tag him if not possible to sign him. You got to keep this dude around. You need help for your rookie quarterback or for Jared Goff. For Jared Goff because you trade for Jared Goff. But I'm thinking more long term. I don't think Jared Goff is going to be there long term. I think they'll probably keep him for a year or 2 and then move off of him if he's not doing good. I'd give him a 5-year deal. Whether it's for Jared Goff or your rookie quarterback they're going to draft, I'd lock down Kenny Golladay, one of the best underrated wide receivers in the league, for as long as possible for whatever amount he wants, to be honest with you. Next re-signing is Jamal Agnew, wide receiver, corner, and punt returner. He's one of the best return men in the NFL. He can play gunner and jammer on special teams. and he can catch if needed. He used to play corner only, but I believe in 2020 he switched to wide receiver and played okay, as their third, fourth receiver. I give him a 3-year deal. You can ask him to be anything. He's like the Taysom Hill of the wide receiver, corner, and punt returner, but he doesn't throw the ball, obviously. He's not a quarterback. Offseason moves, aka outside free agents and trades. First outside free agent you should sign is Curtis Samuel, wide receiver from Carolina. His 2020 stats are 850 yards, 3 touchdowns, with 200 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. He's a very fast, he's a utility player. He had 5 yards a carry, and I believe 11.1 yards per catch. He's a good route runner with really good speed as well. This is his best season by far as a player in the NFL. He's young and can still develop alongside Jared Goff and the young quarterback you're going to draft. 4-year deal. Again, lock him up. This is a guy that can develop. Next to Kenny Golladay, I think he could easily be a 1A, it's like a 1A receivers. Just, try and get the best duo you can for Jared Goff because he needs weapons. Jared Goff needs weapons to be successful. You got TJ Hawkinson, you got DeAndre Swift, you got Kenny Golladay, so you get Curtis Samuel. The next signing, I have Jeremey Illumina, guard for New England. His 2020 stats are 3 sacks for a 68 PFF grade. He's a good young guard. He has lots of money in the O-line already with the Detroit, so it depends on how much you really want to put in this offensive line. You got to protect your future quarterback in Jared Goff. I give him a 5-year deal. He's only 27. He could still develop a little bit more, but he's a good, solid guard who can, be a top 16 guard in the league. So and they have a guard, Joe Dahl. I think you got to move off of him. He's not good. Joe Dahl let up a lot of sacks this year, and Jeremey Illumina only let up 3, and that was with Cam Newton. So Cam Newton ran into a lot of sacks because he's a versatile quarterback, a dual threat, throwing and running. So he ran into a lot of sacks that I'm not gonna really blame the offensive line for. But Jeremey Illumina, I think, could be a really decent guard, especially if they want to keep Joe Thuney in New England. I think Jeremey Illumina is to be the guy on the outside. The next signing, I'd have Leonard Floyd, a linebacker from the Rams. His 2020 stats were 10.5 sacks, 55 tackles, 11 tackles for loss, 19 QB hits, a forced fumble, and 2 pass deflections. Rams are way over the cap. Leonard Floyd is actually, I believe, 7th in sacks this year. So him and Romeo Qora are 7 and 8. This is a revenge tour on Chicago who didn't want to re-sign him. They chose Roquan Smith and Danny Trevathan over Leonard Floyd. He can help in pass rushing and coverage. He's a very good coverage linebacker and even better pass rusher. I give him a 3-year deal. Again, what you really need to do for this defense is you got good corners, you got okay safeties, you got decent linebacker play, but you don't have pass rush. So quarterbacks can sit there and throw for as long as they want. When you only have one dude go over 4 sacks, that's a problem. They only got 25 sacks last season, and 10 of that was from one person. So let's say Romeo Qora didn't play last year, you'd only have 15 sacks as a team. That is the lowest in the league by far. So you got to get more pass rush help, and that's why the trade I have for Von Miller from Denver. Now, his 2019 stats, because he spent 2020 on IR after a tendon tear, not an ACL or Achilles, it was a tendon. 8 sacks with 46 tackles, 10 TFLs, 20 QB hits. Every year before that, he had 10 plus sacks. This was a down year in his standards. He's an 8-time Pro Bowler and a 3-time first team All-Pro and a future Hall of Famer. Obviously, he's one of the best linebackers in the league. He's a future Hall of Famer, obviously, as I just said. He helps you pass rush and he helps build a winning culture. I think if you send it this year 2nd and then next year 4th, you'll be okay. If I'm a team that wants to win for the future, I'm trying to give away as many picks of this year because without a scouting combine, without pro days, it's gonna be very tough to find good young people in the later rounds, and that's why I'm very excited for this front office because that's what they're good at. But it's gonna be very interesting to see what teams like the Lions do. Do they want to trade their picks of this year or package them for other players, young players to help their teams win in the future? Because they can't scout this year as well as they usually could. So maybe they'll trade as many picks as they can this year for proven players and let the winning teams, the heavy rebuilding teams draft this year. But I think the Lions, they could easily turn this around in 2 or 3 years. So I would go all in on Von Miller, get the last of his career in Detroit, and have him help your pass rush and help build that winning culture that Dan Campbell wants, where you tear off the opponent's kneecaps. And this is their draft. I was really thinking about going Devonta Smith at 7 for Detroit, but if they sign all the wide receivers and they keep getting Kenny Golladay, I don't know, I think what they should do is draft a quarterback of the future, and whatever they can do with that quarterback, bench him for a year or two, keep Jared Goff. Like, hey Jared, um, how the Packers still have Jordan Love and don't want to move off him still. I like Jared. We believe in you. This is for 3-4 years down the line, our future of the league. We want to keep you now. Go out and ball. And I think this is also gonna light a fire under Jared Goff because easily, with a Ram system, he had no competition. He was casual and chill, and that's why I think he had a pretty okay year this year. But the year that they went to the Super Bowl, Jared Goff was on fire. So I think if you light a fire underneath him, he'll play better. At 41 is Wyatt Davis, a guard. This is just in case you want to keep Joe Dahl. He can learn under Joe Dahl, or you can immediately replace him. Ronnie Perkins at edge. He's from Oklahoma. He's an okay edge. Nothing spectacular. I think for 72, it's pretty good value. Eric Stokes at corner can immediately become your slot corner. Immediately better than Justin Coleman, and immediately better than I believe it was Desmond Trufant who played a lot of slot for them this year. But Eric Stokes is immediately better than all of them. He's an immediate starter. Dylan Moses, same thing at linebacker. I think he could be a Mac Wilson of last year, where Mac Wilson came in, started out as a backup and worked his way up to a starter and had a baller of a season. I think Dylan Moses is in that exact same like copy and paste cookie cutter shape. Is that he could be a backup at first and develop into a starter within his first year. And Trey Sermon, I think it would just be smart to get another running back outside of DeAndre Swift. I let Kerryon Johnson walk I believe his contract is up this year. I let Kerryon Johnson walk, get Trey Sermon, get a crazy playoff run. Him and DeAndre Swift should be a really good 1-2 punch that are really young on rookie contracts. But yeah, that's my offseason plan for the Detroit Lions. If you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Comment down below. Goff in Detroit. No, that's terrible. I don't know what the comment. Oh, comment kneecap. Yeah, comment kneecap. If you guys did enjoy, please like, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell to know when I upload next. Go follow me on Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, everything down below in the description. I'll see you guys later. Peace. Bye.